Thank you for the opportunity to be speaking.
Connection.
Tulafale, it's Dave, Kekana Connections. Thanks for dropping in. What an awesome poster that is. A little man casting a big shadow, because basically that's what the movie is about. Sa'ili, on his small little isolated world, wanted to enter the world of the big men, the giants, and he does. And oh, what a good film it is. Tusi Tomasese, well done. You carry the traditions of good storytelling, and you've really outdone yourself this time. I can't wait for your next project. If you haven't seen the film, you may not want to watch this clip because it could be a spoiler for you, but if you want to hang about, I'll give you this next 5 seconds to think about it. Now, in this review, I'm going to cover customs, practices and traditions of our culture, which are shown in the movie and actually accentuate the circumstances and the characters in the film. So I'm not going to be covering cinematography, the actors, the plots, what's usually found in a typical review. But if you want a different angle on the review, there is another YouTuber by the name of Miss Nisarima. I'll put the link in the descriptions below, and you can check out her review as well. She does a good one. I don't believe that Tusi Tomasese deliberately made it exclusive, but maybe to have people ask questions as to why do they do this and why do they do that, and it worked because 2 friends of mine asked these questions and I answered them, and I'll cover that in this clip, and also 4 other things that I'll be covering, which is basically the meaning of the names, the social relationship structures, which are quite interesting, the tombstones and the land rights. So I'll be looking at them, and I'll probably diverge a little bit on some of them as well, just to expand on what those things meant. Obviously I won't be covering everything, so if there are things that you pick up that you know about, then you're more than welcome to put a comment below, and please do. We're here to learn and get educated on Coconut Connections. Number 1, the name meanings. The main character Sa'ili, his name means to seek, to search, or to find. So it's like something that's happening in the present. Va'ainga, on the other hand, his wife, her name means something that has been seen, like literally has been seen, like it's in the past tense. Another name I like to look at is Tangaloa. Tangaloa, who's like the high chief in the movie. In Samoan legend, Tangaloa is like the great god of all the other gods, all the smaller gods, similar to the Greek gods, Zeus being the head honcho of all the other smaller gods. So that's the reference to Tangaloa. That's the big god of Samoan legend. Tusi Tomasese makes a deliberate effort to show us that Sa'ili is not a happy man. He's quite upset, he's an angry dude, got a chip on his shoulder, and we see this in the opening scene when he's trying to maintain his parents' tombstones, which are out in the plantation. Those are important things to consider. Now, there could only be several reasons why the parents are buried out in the plantation. The first reason could be that the chief in the village didn't hold the family in high esteem and didn't see fit that they should be buried in front of the house, which is customary to do, and I'll cover more on that later. But they allocated the plantation for them, which indicates to us that they didn't hold this family in high esteem. Second, it could be Sa'ili's strategic move, that he's put his parents on the border of his land in the hope that the neighbors won't intrude and start planting their yams in his land. But as we see, they do, and this is getting frustrating for Sa'ili because he could constantly come around with his machete and cut it down, which would get pretty frustrating. Third reason, they could be good fertilizers for the plantation. Another thing that Sa'ili may have been upset about is that his wife has been whake'ed from her home village. Whake'ed means she was banished, and this is shameful, because what would happen is the village will submit a case to the chiefs to discuss, and in this particular case, the case that was submitted was she was pregnant out of wedlock, and this is frowned upon in Samoa, possibly because of the push of the gospel in Samoa, not too sure, but in any case, they made a decision to banish her from the village. And sometimes it could be the whole family that leaves, but we can see in this case that she had to leave on her own in this particular case, and it kind of reveals that she's a strong woman and that her family didn't back her up. So the irony in the movie too is her daughter goes through the same thing. She's pregnant out of wedlock as well. Tusi Tomasese actually lifts the lid off an issue that I've seen and heard of more than I would have liked to, and that's where older Samoan men come and take advantage of young naive girls and speak all these smooth words like, you look beautiful, you smell good, and you look good on me, and they do all these things to go for ase or get the girl on side so they can take off and have sex, and or even just take off altogether, leaving the families, you know, and that's not cool. Young girls, if you're watching this clip, you should be alarmed and alert when a man comes up to you to talk. Why is he talking to you in the first place? Shouldn't he have gone to see your dad first? And fathers, if you're watching this and you have daughters, you should be telling them all those nice things. You should tell them that they look good, and they smell good, and they're beautiful, and they're smart. Because when you tell them, they don't need to hear from the other man. But I digress. Let's get back onto the topic. Now, to top off everything that we just discussed, Vaenya dies, which is tragic for Sa'ili. You know, he's clearly upset. And what makes it worse is that Vaenya's brother comes and steals the corpse and takes it back to the home village. Now, to solve those issues and the ones that I've already mentioned before, Sa'ili just needs to do one thing. That's to become a chief. And he does that. And we hear his eloquent speech at the end, and he claims the body back. He's able to uplift his daughter, got his wife rightly back where she belongs, where in front of the house, got his parents back in front of the house, and he's got his land back under his chief title, which is a fantastic way to end the movie. So I really enjoyed this one. But let's look at the two questions that my friends asked. Now, the first question I got from my friend was, why do Samoans make such a big deal out of the dead body and location? Now, there is a reason for that. The reason why they bury them in front of the front yard is because they're easily accessible. And Samoans have a very strong pagan background before the missionaries, and to this day it still passes through the lips of one generation to the other. You know, we have all these strange superstitions that we still hold on to. And in the movie you see such an example. The brother, he says that you need to come back to the village because there's a curse. I have a curse. It feels like there's nails that keep scratching at my leg, and there's a sore on his leg. And what he's hinting at is, our parents keep scratching me from the grave. I believe that's what he's hinting at. And this is a common thing you'll hear in Samoa. When things happen around, they believe it's a curse coming from one of the ancestors, and they get these messages from them. So what they believe is that when they have their loved ones in the front, they can easily talk to them, and they can easily talk back and give them guidance and what they need to do. And this is a common pagan belief. I mean, you find it in the ancient Egyptians, you find it with the Druids, you find it in the Aztec Indians, the Native American Indians, where they call on their ancestors to come and give them some guidance. So Samoa was under that same belief as well. Polytheistic belief rather than the monotheistic belief that is popular today. The other one was an observation and just wanting me to affirm, and the observation that they made was, it seems throughout the movie that the villagers are constantly in dramas and having a go at each other and arguing, and the Matais have to sort it out. Is that what it's really like? And you know, I was offended at first, but the more I thought about it, I thought, it is what it's like. And that's how it was in the past, and the stories that my dad has told me and others have told me, man, they got into some mischief. But all the cases were brought to the village council, which is the Matais. They discussed it, they made a decision, and they kept things civilized. And so yes, it was like that. It's a lot like that song that we sing, Nā tō whia lea tua Samoa ina ia pū lea e Matai. Basically, the interpretation is that God set apart Samoa, that they will be governed by the chiefs. Nā tō whia lea tua Samoa ina ia pū lea e Matai, Hey, before we get too excited, I just want to make a shout out to some of the Facebook pages that I love. That's Samoa Men's Club, Big Ups Brothers, also to the Ordinary Fob. You make some really good clips. I enjoyed watching all your videos, so I can't wait to see your next one. Check out his YouTube video, the clips below. Also, Samoa page, last and not least, to all the admins and also the family members there. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to come about next time to see my video in a couple of weeks. To rate, comment and subscribe. Until next time, so forth.